Everyone, welcome to another episode of Dynasty Underdog. I'm your host, Uriah Dawkins. With me tonight, Billy Beeman. What's up, bud?
Not much, dude. I can't believe we're a week away, bro. This is it. This last episode before the season starts. Like how that's
Yes,
insane, man.
been
That's
waiting.
absolutely insane. Oh man. I wish we had Jake here. It sucks. Do want to send some love and good vibes his way. God, man, we've all been going through some stuff, but yeah, he just send some love his way. That's all I want to do before we get going. And so yeah, let's just hop into it, man. We got NFL cuts. We got oh man, Dynasty cut down. What is it? Dynasty roster cut downs. We have so much fun stuff today. So let's hop into it.
Let's hop into it. So, obviously NFL cuts, and I guess some trades and transfers. Is there anything to you that like was shocking or stood out to you, or you think that changes the dynasty landscape for us?
No, I don't think there is any. I don't think there's any roster cuts that were that crazy. I mean, Cole Strange was one from the Patriots, who's a former first round pick, so that's like a high profile one, I guess. But like, I'm sure he'll get picked up somewhere. But he wasn't really impactful on our offensive line, so I don't know if he will be elsewhere. The only other one that was like fantasy relevant, maybe that I thought was interesting was from Jake's Giants, actually, Greg Dulcich. He had just a good preseason. He was scoring a lot. I thought that he kind of made a push for the roster, but if nothing else, I'm wondering if another team will pick him up, based on kind of what he did there. And he looked pretty good. So that was really the only one that stood out to me. Anything for you?
I guess the biggest, well, this is more of a trade, was the Thielen went back to the Vikings. So that kind of, and then Hunter Renfrow was cut from Carolina. So that whole like Carolina wide receiver group kind of looks like secure. You got Tet, Get, and Coker. And that's kind of cool for us, I guess, not having those two veterans on that team kind of muddying the waters. But other than that, like, yeah, nothing really crazy. My boy Deuce Vaughn got waived. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. There was a couple. Yeah, you mentioned the trades, like the Thielen trade and stuff. Is that what you just mentioned?
Thielen.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was trying to drop the link in the Discord, and then Jake beat me to it. Yeah, those were definitely, I think, the noteworthy ones for sure.
Yeah. And then also some news and nonsense. We did get some clarity on Rashee Rice. If you haven't heard, yeah, his suspension is going to be 6 weeks, and it's going to start at the beginning of the season, which I think is probably good for everyone, really.
Fuck. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think getting this done sooner rather than later is what we all want. And obviously, as a contender, if you're pushing into the playoffs, you're going to want him then, right? So it's better that it's not, it's just, you need to get this thing over with in 6 games. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day for the kind of player that you're kind of hoping to get back. So yeah, better to find out now and get it over with.
6 weeks to get more healthy.
That's the other thing. You're right. I didn't note that, but more healthy and fresh legs for the end of the season for the championship run, right? That's what you want.
That's right. All right, cool. So roster cutdowns. We also did this, I think, in a lot of the dynasty leagues that I'm in, at least, when we're heading into the rookie draft season. We'll expand the rosters to add for extra rookies and things like that. But obviously, by the time the season starts, you got to get down to a legal roster, so like 25 players or 20 players, whatever it happens to be. So for us, that happens a couple of days ago. You're not able to make any moves unless you make sure that you're under the limit. So that kind of forces people to drop players. And sometimes there's interesting ones that are dropped and ones that hurt or ones that you don't want to drop. And so let's just talk about a couple of them. One that you mentioned here is Casey Washington.
Yeah, that was probably the only one that I would have been interested in, that I did have to drop in a couple of leagues. I think I dropped him in 2 spots. And just because he was working with the first team early in the preseason with Darnell Mooney out, we still haven't gotten like full clarity on Mooney, I don't think yet. And so just, in the deeper dynasty leagues, to have somebody who could pop off early and garner a 4th or something like that, or even, fill in a flex spot for whatever reason, injuries or maybe Rice or something, on your team. So kind of one of those guys that, just like to see what would have happened, but not going to be consequential, I'm sure, at the end of the day. So I wasn't too disappointed that I couldn't make the move.
Yeah, for me, I guess I have 2 that kind of hurt in a way having a drop was Stone Smart. I think,
Okay.
when they after the draft when they drafted Mason, right? It's kind
Yeah,
of like
he's with the Jets. Yeah.
kind of makes like Stone Smart not as sexy. So uh it's more of a roster clogger at that point for me. Like if I was in a league where someone dropped Stone Smart and I had space, I'd probably go and claim him. Like I still kind of want him on my team, but I just look at my rosters, I'm like, oh man, out of the people I have here, and honestly, I went back and forth quite a few with him. But then the other one is Malik Willis, just because we played Superflex and dropping quarterbacks is kind of hard. I dropped like 3 shares of Zach Wilson,
Well,
which I know that it doesn't.
that and
whatever,
Malik Willis
right?
are much different. Let's be
But
honest.
Malik Willis, like we seen him do well.
That's what I'm saying. I would have done everything I could to keep Malik Willis. Honestly, I think that he's a good backup, like to
Yeah.
have on your roster for sure.
Well, now I feel bad. No, I just
Maybe he'll make it to waivers and you go make another decision, or maybe he'll pick him
who
up
knows?
over you.
But
I don't know.
but that was one that kind of hurt. I was like, this is like Jordan Love, gets hurt, whatever. Like, there's just it's tough. But at the end of the day, probably none of the people that you drop from your dynasty rosters actually really matters. Probably not. It's just we roster these guys for a reason, right? At least for me, a lot of that reason is that I like the player. So anyway, what else? So you said you saw some drops of Sky Moore, Javon Baker, and Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah, I was just kind of interested to see those guys get dropped, especially Sky Moore, heading over to a situation that the receiving core is pretty bleak. So, I just surprised that somebody wouldn't want to try to extract value if possible. I mean, Javon Baker, he just got cut, so not surprised. That was kind of before when he was still on the roster. So never mind that. But yeah, Luke McCaffrey, I mean, he's really not shown much, so I get it, but I haven't really seen him hit the waivers in a bunch of leagues, and I saw him hit a couple in the DU league, so that kind of surprised me. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be inconsequential. Felt like the Moore one was the most interesting one that I saw drop. But one thing I did want to mention, just kind of trying to manage this stuff, like in these leagues where you can carry up to 30 for a certain period of time, and then you have to cut down or whatever it is, whatever the threshold is. I try to find players that are either on IR or, something like that you can stash away. You also look to your taxi squad, find players that are on, IR or something like that, put them onto the IR, and then move guys, other rookies that you have on your roster down to taxi. So trying to find ways to manage it without dropping as many players, and trying to kind of stash certain players throughout the offseason that can you can have a more full roster than you're supposed to have technically, but just by utilizing the taxi and the IR in a strategic way. So sometimes it's inconsequential, but sometimes you get to get that one extra stash that ends up being a hit. So just worth kind of thinking about how you manage those things.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I did with all of them. Honestly, I think what I should have done is maybe take more time. I wanted to have like full access to my team, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to cut as soon as possible, just get rid of 5. But honestly, I think if you take your time and like curated a list of 5 or 6 that you're willing to move, and then actually put out like the price board, like, hey, give me a 4th for this guy, 4th for this guy, and wait a couple days, and maybe you're actually able to get a 4th. Like maybe somebody does Stone Smart for a 4th. Well, I just put him out there now. If you want to get him, you got to get Fad. But I'm sitting there trying to find, hey, do I have any injured players? Let's move them down. Taxi, all that stuff, all those things you mentioned, pretty important. But one last thing I'll add is, when this time's going on, I think it's really important to not just like focus on what you're doing, but it's really important in a way to see what players other people are dropping. You don't want to be the guy coming the next waiver run and be like, oh shit, I didn't even know he was out there. Somebody dropped him.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It happens.
It's easy to miss too when it's like 30 drops in a row and you're like, you don't even, it's hard to kind of see. So it's a good point for sure. And also I like your point about like waiting, because like you don't have to drop anybody. You don't have to start your lineup for another week. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like if you don't need to make a roster move, or you're not trying to, roster bait, you probably don't need to actually do it. So you can wait right up until, day before game day or game day, whatever you really want to do. But give yourself enough time, obviously. But I think to Uriah's point, you can be patient and, try to find the best way to manage it.
Probably one thing that I'll do that I learned from this year was I'll wait, since our date is basically the date where NFL teams are also doing their roster cuts. I think I would have waited until then, roster cuts and IR moves and things like that. Like, there's definitely a couple leagues that those moves would have affected who I would have moved off my team otherwise. So I kind of screwed myself there, but it's a fun time of year. It's kind of a sad time of year. I think I put a post just like, I'm going to miss these guys. Like, I had these guys on my team. Like, I wanted to keep them around, but it is what it is. It's just part of playing Dynasties, though. And shout out to the commissioners who actually let you expand your roster during the offseason. Because I'm sure not every league is like that.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I think it does give that extra feel of like, really managing a team. Like you said, it's kind of right around the same time as the NFL is doing it. So if you feel like you're doing the same thing as like the NFL GMs, right? So it's like you're actually kind of GMing your team, which is really cool. And also shout out Jake, because he did reduce the roster sizes on the exact day, and I would have forgotten for sure. So he crushed it. So I appreciate having him as my right-hand man for that, because I would have missed the mark. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised because like just the day before, actually earlier in the same day, like I added a couple of shares to Trey Lance. I was like, I had roster spots. Like, why all of a sudden am I 5 over? Like, I was 1 under. It's like, oh, okay.
It's so funny. You've been in this for like 7 years, 6 years, whatever it is. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious.
All right, cool.
Okay.
And anybody else you could think of that, I don't know, maybe matters? Nah. All right, cool.
No, not really. It was actually pretty inconsequential for the most part. I mean, there was a couple of those trades, like you mentioned. I mean, we didn't mention let's just mention this. Mari Cooper signed with the Raiders. We didn't mention that, right? So that might be consequential. I know that Jacoby Myers is requesting a trade, and so that whole wide receiver core is interesting because Jack Beck's not doing anything. Betch's not doing anything really. This throws into question Dante Thornton. That's a whole wild situation. So that was definitely something interesting that happened. What was the other trade other than the Vikings one? Wasn't there one other one that happened?
Detroit. Something happened there.
No, well, Tim Patrick, but like, yeah. So I guess Isaac Tesla. Damn, there's one other one that's on the tip of my tongue. Yes, Isaac Tesla definitely seems like he is like the Lions got it right. That definitely seems like they got something right there. Not that he's going to be like something special necessarily, but he seems like a player for sure.
Shout out Matt Waldman for probably the only reason why I have the couple of Tesla shares I have is because his information. So shout out, Matt. All right, cool. So this is another thing that we did this last year. It kind of was brainstormed between me and Jake. We're trying to talk about, we have training camp hype, you have preseason news and all this stuff. And like players are getting hyped up, JCM's getting hyped up. Isaac Tesla's getting hyped up and, some veterans and stuff. But like, who are the guys like kind of been ghosted, or who are the guys that nobody's talking about, but like you still kind of want a piece of? Like the big one for us, I think we kind of agreed on was like T. Higgins last year. It's like you went the whole offseason and like nobody was talking about T. Higgins. It's like, man, he's probably a value right now. So are there any guys like that? So let's kind of talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. I think a lot of them are like a lot of rookies for sure, but there's definitely some vets scattered in here and some second-year players. Ooh, that last one is interesting, but okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one is Giddens. He's playing behind Jonathan Taylor. He's playing behind a decent offensive line there. And I know that like going into the NFL draft, rookie draft, like Giddens wasn't like super highly talked about, but during the preseason, if you watched him, dude looked great. And it's like, doesn't seem like anybody really was catching on to that or the opportunity that he might have. I know that they have, oh shoot, what's that guy's name? I'm not going to be able to pull it. The other running back that they have there.
I can find it for you in a second. I'm forgetting, but
doesn't really matter. But every time that
Uh,
Giddens got the ball, he looked great, and it seemed like nobody really cares that the opportunity there looming for him seems like a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that Giddens has been under talked about, especially with all the different kind of running backs. You know, he has, like you just said, great opportunity ahead of him. Um, so what I did want to look at was his kind of keep trade cut value and just see where he's at, because like I want to see how acquirable these guys are, because he really, like, for his, little as we've talked about him, or anybody I've heard really talk about him, he's actually still, he seems to be carrying more value than I thought. Like, he's early third, ahead of Keaton Mitchell, around Najee Harris and Romeo Dobbs type
Yeah,
value, which is surprising to me. Like,
it
I
is.
feel like I feel like you should be able to trade Najee Harris for Giddens plus pretty easily, and it doesn't look like that. Recent trade that just happened today, Giddens in a third for Trey Benson.
Mm,
Like, I'd probably take Giddens in a third. It's kind of the same situation, right? It's like
it really is. Yeah.
one spot behind the guy, and you're getting an extra third. So I'd probably think about that. Is Tyler Goodson who you were thinking of?
Yes, thank you. I was
There
thinking
you go.
Samson or
Dixie Flatline, thank you.
yeah,
Shout out in the
awesome.
YouTube comments.
I knew I'd never get it. So.
Here, let's hear this real quick before we keep moving. What do you think about the Khalil Mullins and Rocket Sanders situations? Rocket Sanders, he's in Cleveland now, right? He fell into Cleveland. Is that where he is?
He got cut.
Right? I think that's it, right?
But then Khalil Mullins is Tennessee, right? So I think that he with so Tajay Spears is going to be on IR or PUP, but he's going to be out for a few weeks. And so then you have just Tony Pollard there, who Tony Pollard is not exactly a spring chicken anymore. He's still really good running back, not as electric as he used to be pre-injury. But I think Khalil Mullins is absolutely somebody that you should have on your roster. Probably really cheap to get. Totally, I would definitely make room for him on my roster. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, he's not the most dynamic back, but he definitely is an okay back. I definitely remember writing the film notes on him. He's just not super explosive or flashy, but he can get the job done. He's a little bit of a grinder. I would not be surprised to see him play. So yeah, I mean, he is a guy who I guess also kind of fits this this category, right, where nobody's talked about him at all. So definitely a dynasty phantom, but probably worth having on your roster or on somebody's roster. He says kind of what you were saying. I wonder if Spears' injury and the Judkins situation for Rocket Sanders linger longer than expected. And I think you might have said that in the Discord today, or somebody said that in the Discord, that maybe it wasn't you, but somebody was saying it, that he could potentially push for a spot there given the Judkins situation. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just the Cleveland situation is just so rough in general. It's like I'm barely excited about the guys who I know are okay, like Jerome Ford, and like, yes, Rocket Sanders has a ton of pedigree, but getting cut from a better situation going to here just doesn't really give me a ton of confidence. That's all.
He looked good in preseason. I'll say that.
He did. And in what was probably a much better situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yes, that's fair. He was probably playing with, I guess, the third and fourth string, so I shouldn't say much better situation. So we can move on now. Good question, though. Thank you, Dixie. Following.
The next two, Jalen Noel and Christian Kirk. Yeah, I mean, Christian Kirk, nobody talks about him at all. But his situation is, what is that like? Wide receiver 3 on this team?
I think he's locked in as the wide receiver 2 early on. Like,
okay,
I don't know if Jaden Higgins comes out as the like wide receiver 2. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's playing more, those 3 receiver sets, and he's just coming out the slot all the time. But he just, from what I think we've kind of heard out of the camp there, he's going to be pretty involved. So he's sitting down here around Troy Franklin, early third, or Rhonda Gadsden, Wandale Robinson. Like, he could probably score you some points. I don't know. I'm not like seeking him out, but if I can get him in a throw-in trade or something. You're going to want guys on that team, and they're not all going to stay healthy all year long. That's for sure. I mean, he might be the one who doesn't, but maybe the other guy here, Jalen Knoll, is the one everybody is going to be more interested in.
All right. Next one, yeah, Gadsden. Like he was getting a ton of hype, like mandatory minicamp and all the pressers that kind of come after that. And I think the time between mandatory minicamp and then like actual training camp, obviously not hearing a whole lot, but after that, like we haven't really had like those pressers where, you know, coaches really gushing over him. Honestly, in preseason, didn't really even notice him at all. But he was one of those guys that was getting hyped up, not leaving like 3 months ago. What do you take of this?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't super excited about this guy, and his price is just kind of a little expensive, I think. He's right next to Hunter Henry. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff where I'm just like, just give me Hunter Henry. I'll take that and I'll be fine. You know, so I mean, if I could move Gadsden based on like youth and hype for something like that and get plus on top of it, I might be looking to do something like that, even if it's a micro win. That's what we're looking for in Dynasty sometimes. I'm sure Jake would be proud.
Yeah, micro wins. I like that. Next one is your boy, Ben Sinnott. It's crazy. So I have your boy. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but I've become a film bro now. So I have NFL Pro. I can just like search anybody I want, and then they'll show me just their plays.
It's the shit. It's awesome.
Under the circumstances that I want to see. Even if I don't really know what I'm looking at. It's pretty cool.
I don't want to see any of the blocking whatsoever.
No, I don't care. Blocking does not get any points. But Ben Sinnott, there's not a lot there preseason, so I don't know what to take from that. Like, I really don't know what to take from that. He was one of those situations where
coming from the Ben Sinnott like person here, I don't even want to say truther because it sounds terrible, but yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that's encouraging so far, unfortunately. And I mean, maybe it's because he's just stuck behind Ertz, but you'd think in preseason you'd see a little something, and I didn't.
You would, and I did not either. It's just, yeah, you know, I mean, honestly, I went there and I was like, wow, you know, Michael Gallup still actually looks kind of decent, but they ended up cutting him. But yeah, Ben Sinnott is still one of those guys that, like, I mean, at this point, I think, you know, value-wise, like, you just kind of have to hold, right? There's no – probably at this point, you're not even getting back, like, what you paid for him, or it's very, very similar to what you paid for him. Really, I think we got to wait for
– I don't know. I mean, this is actually crazy. What I'm looking at here is – sorry, it was kind of crazy.
No, go for it.
I'm on Keep Trade Cut, you know, obviously this insane website, but value adjacent players are like Leggett, Brian Robinson, which has got to change. That's insane. But like Rashad Bateman, Cedric Tillman, like I feel like you might be able to get out of him for something.
You might want it. Okay, yeah, I did not know.
The recent trade today was like him for Chris Rodriguez, but like I would probably just hold Sinnott still. But if I could get out on something of like those other guys, and maybe you'd have to add something to realistically do it. But like, I don't know, man. Like this is one of those. I don't know if maybe I'm cutting out too early. I don't know. Maybe not it just doesn't feel good, you know.
Maybe there are just other reasons that we didn't see a lot of usage. I'm looking at something else here real quick too. A lot of usage of him in the preseason. Maybe there's a lingering issue like injury or something that we don't really know about, but
I hope
they sure as hell weren't trying to showcase him in the preseason. Let me tell you that. Yeah,
not good.
Staying not on track here, but another guy that got cut from Seattle was Damian Martinez. Now he was the guy. Should bring that up just because he is a pretty electric running back, and I really thought that he would kind of stick with that team, seeing how Seattle typically likes to have kind of like a stable running backs there. So if he does land somewhere, that's something to keep an eye on. He's no slouch.
That's a good point, honestly. That was one that we missed in the surprise and cut section for sure. I mean, like they have a lot of running backs, but him and Holani look good. I'm sure he'll get picked up on a practice squad somewhere and get a chance still. So hope is not yet completely lost for him. Still young. We'll see what happens there.
Yes. Another one, Cooper Cup. Like, we know he has a new situation, but it's not like he's the wide receiver 2 on the team, right? Like, and nobody's really kind of like talking about him like they kind of just forgot about him, like he's out to wash, put him out to pasture. He's old, he's on a new team. Like, who cares? Like, I think we do care. Like, I think we should care. But it doesn't seem like anybody really wants to kind of look at that and advocate for acquiring Cup for another year. Like, I don't think he's lost. I don't think he's lost everything. I think he still has some juice.
Yeah, his value is bonkers right now. Like, just the players he's going around, like Jatavian Sanders and Pat Freiermuth and Adonai Mitchell or Rashad Bateman even. The upside is so much greater with Cup. Yeah, I mean, if you're a contender, it's definitely worth going out there and taking a peek and seeing what's happening. It's just so quiet on the home front. They're probably not thinking about him, and if a team has them that is not contending, probably can really snag them off them for the cheap.
Easy. All right, this one is cool. It's a wide receiver duo, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. Going to, rookie quarterback and a team that's not been great for a long time, but Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett.
Mm-hmm.
They're old guys, right? They're old guys, should be kind of cheap to acquire, but Calvin Ridley's going to get over 100 targets. Tyler Lockett's probably going to get 70, 80 targets. Like, I don't understand why we're trying to just like forget that they exist, right? Like, even we say it all the time, even especially wide receivers, even on a bad team, they're going to produce fantasy points for you. And if you do think that Tennessee is going to be bad, that's not a bad thing for Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett.
No, I agree. I mean, I think I think Ridley has been. I don't know if he fits this list as well, but I mean, maybe he's been a little under talked about, and the whole team in general. I think I agree has been kind of they're not getting their due credit, and I think Cam Ward is probably a little bit better than people are expecting. So I think we should be a little excited. But I agree with you on Tyler Lockett. I'm very surprised that there's no talk about him. I know everybody wants either A.O. Manor or DK or somebody to come kind of through as a rookie. But Tyler Lockett is one of those guys who's almost inevitable, right? Like, this isn't JSN that's pushing Tyler Lockett out, right? Like, it took JSN to push Tyler Lockett out. And granted, Tyler Lockett's not, the old Tyler Lockett, but I do think he's going to give some, pretty solid performances this year. I think better than expected. So, he's completely forgotten about. And so I agree with that one for sure.
I kind of look at Lockett.
Value looks like.
I kind of look at Lockett. Like, I kind of look at Keenan Allen. I mean,
they're
both
similar.
just kind of, if anybody's going to defeat defeat time, it's players like Tyler Lockett. It's players like Larry Fitzgerald. It's players like Keenan Allen. Like, you see Tyler Lockett get the ball. What does he do? He goes down because he's not trying to get lit up. Like, that is longevity in the league, right? So you're not getting yak, but that dude gets open and he understands the game at a very, very high level. So,
he's basically a free throw-in on any trade you make with somebody who has him. He's like worth a 4th-round pick, basically what I'm looking at here. So, it's not something you need to like seek out clearly, but if the opportunity presents itself for nothing, then I think it's kind of worth it. Let me see this. He's trembling with Tommy for the Y tight end gig. But do you guys think that Mitchell Evans might be overlooked a year removed from an ACL tear? Mitchell Evans was okay. I still wasn't super impressed with his tape. I don't know. I mean, yeah, like, again, I think it's JT Sanders, right? Because he's on the Carolina Panthers, so I'm not really sure he's going to do much, but block for that team. His 23 efficiency metrics were really good. It's fair. Yeah, I mean, tight end gurus high. I'm okay. Fair enough. Like, I'm like, he was a guy who definitely caught some buzz in like C2C leagues and college leagues. Like I definitely had him on on a roster for sure. So I get the intrigue, but man, yeah, it does seem it just looked like the athleticism was kind of gone on tape is the problem. But maybe you're right. I always do this, and I maybe I need to be put on the right path, but I focus too hard on the year, I guess, after the injury and don't give them that extra year to get healthy again. So maybe it's possible, but I just didn't see much there.
But it's a good segue for the next guy on our list, which is JT Sanders. So JT Sanders was a guy that
Bro.
we were high on last year. I believe he got injured too, correct?
Yes, but I don't think it was a serious injury. I think he was like dealing with foot injury like all year or something like that. I'm failing to remember, but yes, he
definitely
was
the hype between JT Sanders, say this time last year, or even the first couple of weeks of the season last year, to where it is now. And I do believe, tight end one on that team, right? That's a team that I personally think is going to kind of shock some people as well as they're to the level that they're going to be playing, especially for fantasy and just in general. I believe the Panthers are going to take a step forward this year. I've been saying it for a while now. Bryce has like no excuses now. He has all the weapons. I don't really know what his O-line looks like, so I can't say there, but I mean, he's got people to play with. You got Ted McMillan, Jalen Coker, he's got Xavier Legette, JT Sanders. I still think that I want one of the cheapest pieces on that offense, if I could get it. And I think JT Sanders is probably one of them.
Yeah, I will tell you if he is. But first, just want to correct myself. I was thinking of his rookie year, I guess, or early in his rookie year, the 2023 season. He had the foot injury, but no, you're right. Last year, he went out in week 12 with the neck injury. So yes, that is what ruined the season there for him. I know he was showing some flashes for sure. Just looking at his value, let's see, like some. So he's around again. We mentioned the Cooper Cup, late second, 28 second. Daniel Jones. I mean, you could probably trade I don't know. They're saying you can trade Ben Sennett for him. They're saying Ben Sennett's ahead of him in these rankings.
Well, I would probably move Ben Sennett for JT Sanders then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would move down. Would you? You might be able to move off Dallas Goedert for JT Sanders too. Just looking in like the same in position wise, but yeah, I mean you could probably get into him if you want to. There's some players there for sure that you could probably move off like Rashad Bateman and get back Sanders plus maybe or something like that with the right manager. So yeah, there's opportunity for it, and I kind of agree with you that he is in a good situation, and we do think that this Panthers team is going to improve. You've been all over this, and he technically should be a part of that.
Yep. Next one. Ooh, shout out. We can't go with the pod without talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. They engaged.
We're getting all the news in some way or another here. Okay, don't worry about it.
That's right. Big NFL news. Nah, that's pretty cool. Happy for him. That's awesome. But
cool, definitely.
If you're looking at the ways kind of life goes with guys, and this seems to be a really good exiting point for Travis Kelce's career. He got engaged, kind of settled down. Let's go out there, try to get one more ring. And who's the guy behind Travis Kelce? Noah Gray, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Gray has actually looked pretty good when asked to be on the field. Obviously, it's hard to get that playing time behind a guy that's been as great as Travis Kelce has been all these years. But what if we find ourselves middle of the season and they decide to get a deal because they know Travis Kelce's going to be gone? We get Noah Gray 4-year extension. That price is going to the moon, right? That's very real.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Very much happen. And it's honestly, in my opinion, it's probably more likely than not. I feel like they like the guy.
They definitely like the guy. He performs when Kelce's not there, and you have no Rashee Rice. What if there's an early season injury to Kelce? Like, there's so many things that could happen. But definitely Uriah just threw out a really, really fun one that I could totally see happening. And look, you're talking about Noah Gray for at the highest level, a mid third, or Alec Pierce, or Marquise Brown, or Sean Tucker, or Roman Wilson. Like, you can get into Noah Gray if you want. He was just sent for a third in a tight end plus premium league, a 28 third. I don't know if I said that or not. Demario Douglas for Noah Gray and Jalen McMillan. Don't love that. I think. Oh, I don't love that at all. But yeah, I would do some of those, like a 28 third maybe. But you don't need to. I think you can get them for like cheaper than that probably. So yeah, I don't think I would need to do that. Even though that's dirt cheap, I guess, because it is 28. You probably don't even think that exists. That's like sending like an IOU.
It's like, what is a 28?
Literally, it's like a written IOU. Here, have this.
Oh, go buy Noah Gray, guys.
I think there's some.
And if I'm wrong, it costs you nothing.
Yeah, I think if you can, again, it's one of those. Some of these are what I was saying earlier, which is like if you're trying to make a trade with somebody and you see this player on their team, like you should throw that player into the trade as like the plus that you need to get it over, knowing that he can reach higher heights than what his worth is now. So, yeah.
All right, next one, rookie Savion, Green Bay Packers. Wide receiver / running back. Playing behind Josh Jacobs. Marshawn Lloyd looks great when he's healthy, but he can't stay healthy, which is making me mad because I made a very calculated move for Marshawn Lloyd based on my own, is the trade I made where I sold Jalen Wright for X amount and was able to purchase Marshawn Lloyd for less than that, pocketing a little bit of capital and getting what I viewed was kind of a similar player as far as potential to see the field.
Yep.
And I'll never know if I was right doing that unless Marshawn Lloyd gets there. But anyway,
you may never ever know.
I may never ever know.
Career's going.
So, but yeah, Savion. I don't really like the guy that much to begin with. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I'm a lot more intrigued. I've always kind of I fuck with Jake a lot when we're texting back and forth sometimes, and I'm like Savion's a lot better wide receiver than everybody says. But I believe it a little bit too. That's the problem, is because I do think that he is a better wide receiver than everybody thought he was coming out of college. I also agree that he's a better running back than he is a wide receiver, but I just think he's a better wide receiver than everybody gives him credit for, meaning I think he's a better dual threat player than everybody gives him credit for in this offense. And we already have an injury to Marshawn Lloyd. We're going to see some Savion Williams in the backfield, guys. Like, that's what I'm kind of thinking. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at his value here, and he's sitting around Jordan Whittington, 25 early fourth, Luke McCaffrey, Luke Schoonmaker, 26 early fourth, Malik Washington. Can you trade right now Malik Washington for Savion in a third based on the hype? I bet you can, or at least a fourth. I would definitely do something like that, I think. I'm not saying that this is a slam dunk for sure going to hit, but I just think he plays a different role than all the other wide receivers in that receiving room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much about his receiving ability, but he offers some of that too. And if he can get the work coming out of the backfield, that's where that stuff really hits, right? Now he can be like your little Cordell Patterson kind of like thing, you know what I mean? And he's just a young kind of dynamic player like that. So I'd be interested in getting into him, given there is no hype right now around him seemingly.
And shout out to the research you've done personally, considering the running back touches. Josh Jacobs falls on the naughty list there. So
that's fair. Yeah, it's a good point too. Yeah.
So you kind of just want the guy behind Josh Jacobs.
Well, really definitely do. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
And that might be Savion if Marshawn Lloyd can't seemingly stay healthy. Yep. All right. Another one I put out down here with a question mark was Keon Coleman. Does he count? So, I mean, I think a lot of people viewed his. Oh, go ahead.
No. I do think he counts a little bit. He's been pretty quiet around. I feel like I did hear a little bit of like, I heard some kind of buzz, but maybe it was more that like because he wasn't playing that much, he's about to have a preseason. He's about to like go off this season. I think that was somebody who was kind of alluding to that maybe. But I've never been the biggest fan of his game. Obviously, as an FSU alum, like loved watching him back then and hope he's successful. Also think he's a hilarious kid, so shout out to him. But just like, look, why not, right? There's nobody else in this offense, really. There's not many other players in this offense to catch the ball. And he's a big play threat. So I get it. I get the allure. I'm just not super into him, but let's see, like value wise, David Montgomery, early second, Devonta Adams. I'm okay. Like I'll find something else. But I get it.
What about Xavier Leggett?
Xavier Leggett. It's so funny, man. This is one that Jake hates. That I like. I feel like there's a potential for him for some reason, but like
Yeah.
he's so unrefined, and then he got in the fight in the preseason, all that. Yeah, I don't know. Especially with the Adam Thielen trade, that helps things for sure because now you're going to see more of him, Coker, and Tet, right? Like you're going to see a lot of that, I think, out there, and so he's going to get plenty of run this year. So if he's a thing, I think he's got to prove it this year for sure.
All right, the last one, which I think is interesting and intriguing, is Wandale Robinson.
Okay.
Nobody wants to talk to him because he's not like this. He's not a big name, right? He's just like he's always had a bad quarterback. Like he's got a quarterback upgrade this year, seemingly, right? That dude was getting like 120 plus targets. Like, what did he get? Like 140 last year? Something insane. Like,
I'd
I
have
mean,
to
he was
look.
on.
No,
There was
he's
like 10
definitely
target
right.
games.
He's a PPR machine. Yeah.
So, I mean, we all play people. Well, we don't probably all play PPR, but most of us play PPR. Like, this is a guy that is going to get a ton of targets. And it seems like
You're right. He did have 140 last year. Yeah.
There you go.
93 for 7. 93 for 699 is insane.
I know that's the thing. It's not the yak or whatever, but he's catching the ball. Like that's 140 points just for catching it and falling down at the scrimmage. At the line of scrimmage, and he's got a quarterback upgrade. So, and I probably don't think he costs very much at all. It's just one of those names that like nobody cares about because he's not like a true X or whatever you want. But like, give me the dude that's going to catch 140 balls.
It costs a little bit more than you think, surprisingly, according to Keep Trade Cut. Like, no, not like that much. I mean, I think again, this is Keep Trade Cut. You could probably get him for less or more, depending. You know what I mean? It depends. So I mean, I think you could probably not you. I think one could probably get him for a late third. Maybe is really like his lowest value, but he's sitting around the Hunter Henrys, Christian Kirks, or Rondé Gadsden kind of thing. So you'd have to be willing to give up some like upside or hopium, potential upside or whatever, or hopium with like the Gadsden thing and just get into a floor play like Wandale, right? And like that's okay. And I think the idea is two things. Maybe he's better with Russ. Okay. Maybe he's better with Jackson Dart. Like it's like maybe like he has better opportunities than he's ever had right now, or at least higher upside unknowns than he's ever had before, which was always locked into Daniel Jones. So you're right, Dynasty Phantom. Nobody has heard about this guy for the past like 4 months. We haven't heard a thing about him. So he definitely applies to this list, and I think you could go out there and get him, and also one of those throw-ins on a trade potential kind of thing too. So yeah, I agree.
Go buy some Wandale.
Yeah, go buy some Wandale. Before we keep it pushing, Higher Heights, the new Heights spinoff pod. I mean, I know what Higher Heights is, but like, what was that in reference to? I wonder what we were saying.
That's their the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah,
that's the Kelsey's podcast. Yes. I've never listened to it, but I think there you go.
Jesus Christ. What do you guys make? Okay, hold on. He said, "What do you guys make of the running back 2 battle in Miami, and would you sell Wright for a 27th third at this point?" Yes, I would sell Wright for a 27th third immediately. I think Ollie Gordon locked it up. Like, I don't think there's any, and I was a Wright guy, so I'm, fully falling on the sword there. Definitely think Ollie Gordon has taken the spotlight. One more from Dixie Flatline here. Running back Savion Williams would validate my priors so bad. That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're validating priors this year. Okay, let's do it.
It feels good.
I'm in on AJ says I'm in on Wandale with Neighbors, toe, and assorted other injuries. That's a fair point too. Neighbors has been dealing with injuries all offseason, and he's dealt with injuries really early in his career. I mean, this has been a problem. So yeah, that's a good shout. Wandale definitely could have some extra value, mid-year, and that we aren't even really kind of thinking about right now. So good shot there, AJ. Awesome YouTube comments today, guys. It was really good. Before we hit the dynasty trades and non-trades and get out of here, Did we talk about the B-Rob trade last week at all?
We didn't.
Or am I
Well,
tripping?
last week I wasn't here. I don't know. Did it happen before the show
No,
or after?
it didn't. No, I don't think it happened. I don't know. I feel like we should talk about I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
should.
But we've been yeah, we definitely need to talk about it if we haven't. I feel like we haven't.
So yeah, the ongoing
See,
saga there
actually.
with in Washington with the Commanders was
Yeah, that was the 24th. I can confirm. That was on Sunday. So it definitely happened after our last
okay.
podcast.
Excellent. I don't know. Time's a flat circle, as they say. I don't know, man. What's up is down.
When you become a parent, it's like you don't even it's all over.
That's true. But yeah, so Brian Robinson was put on the trade block by the Washington Commanders. There was some like rumors about it happening, and then at the exact same time, which is crazy for us, like that our end of this and critically online, always kind of looking to see what's happened. You know, we had Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, JCM, Bill, whatever you want to call him. Tons of hype for him. At the exact same time, the team is saying, hey, we're looking to trade Brian Robinson. And it's like, holy shit. If these two things happen at the same time, like this could be just phenomenal. And then we're wondering where Brian Robinson going to end up if he does get traded, yada, yada. Essentially, he gets traded to the San Francisco 49ers, which means he's probably going to get injured soon. But they have a press conference there in San Francisco talking about him, and they said specifically, we're bringing Brian Robinson in to be the RB2, which also on the Washington side of things locks, in my opinion, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt into the RB2 role. Just all around dynasty shaping trade. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, confirming priors today, aren't we, with this JCM stuff? No, I mean,
was right the whole
absolutely.
time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you're on a legendary run right now. Yeah, like he definitely. I think he's the guy short term. I do think that Eckler may be a little bit more involved than people are expecting. I think that he's going to get, it may be closer to 50-50 than people want it to be with JCM early on, or even more of a split, right? Where it's like, 40-40, whatever, like where it's, because obviously Chris Rodriguez is going to get in. So it's going to be a lot more split, I think, than people are expecting there. But with Brian Robinson, I mean, I said this in the Discord, I was trying to find my message so I didn't have to like think about it all over again. But I just think that we're doing the same thing, a similar thing, not the same thing, a similar thing. If we think back to David Montgomery years back when he was coming out of the Bears, there was a ton of hate for David Montgomery, and he was a bad back. Like everybody would say it. He's not an explosive running back. He's not good. He's he's a plotter. He's this, that, and the other, whatever it is. He's just a volume, rusher, all that. Then he goes over to Detroit, and now everybody loves him, right? And I think Brian Robinson is getting a little bit of that treatment where he's definitely been better than people are giving him credit for. Like perennial 799 yard rusher, but between like 750 and 800 yard rusher on like 150 to 180 carries. He's seen, above 40 targets in at least one season. Like this guy can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He's going to be involved. Like he's going to be involved in this offense. He's not just a safety net. They're definitely planning on, in my opinion, making sure that CMC doesn't get injured early on in the season. There's no way that they want to just force feed Christian McCaffrey early on this season. The offensive line for this team, I think, is banged up already. So I think early on we're going to see a lot of Brian Robinson, a lot of CMC, and then on the goal line, you think they're just going to be pounding CMC all the time? I really don't think so. Like Brian Robinson is meant for this, right? So he's like, is he not a candidate to potentially hit 8 touchdowns again?
Yeah.
And 600, 700 yards, like that's valuable. So I don't know. People are completely just like throwing this guy away and saying he's a bum. And Jordan Mason was better than him. This guy, I'm like, I don't know, man. Jordan Mason was nothing before he was in this offense. I mean, he definitely is a decent running back. I'm not just trying to shit on Jordan Mason either, but I just think it's a discredit to the player Brian Robinson has been, in my opinion. And I don't know really where the hate comes from other than him being kind of boring.
I think that's mostly what it is. He's just kind of boring. Yeah. That was a really good breakdown.
Sorry. And I'm scared of CMC, but not because of Brian Robinson. I was always scared of CMC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, boom. Let's sit on some trades and untrades before we get out of here. We have Hawkinson plus Tua. No way for Baker. And do you want?
This didn't happen. It's non-trade.
Okay.
This is a non-trade. What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's DU1. That's funny. This is okay. This makes more sense. All right, so somebody was trying to send Tua and or trying to send Baker for Hawkinson and Tua, and it didn't go through. I think that throwing in a quarterback on top of shoot.
Yeah, you're falling.
I don't know.
You see how hard this one is. Yeah.
I think I'd probably just stick with Hawkinson and Tua. Although I think that Baker's going to score more than Tua, but I believe that Hawkinson is just one of those players that you don't give up too willy-nilly in a tight end premium league.
Yeah, so this actually got sent to me, and somebody was trying to move Hawk into for Baker. Yes. And I reached out to Jake, and he also because I'm like, something doesn't feel right about this. And I'm just like, it is Tua. It's obviously Tua. It's the risk that, one bump in its retirement. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And, that's what Jake essentially said to me. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I sent it to the Discord, and the Discord was like 84%, I think, on Baker's side. And it was it was at least like 6 to 10 votes. I didn't see how many finished on it, but yeah. So, I mean, I already wasn't going to do it, but like the value feels right. You know what I mean? It's like, but I'm in a full rebuild too. So it's like, I don't need the points necessarily. And also it's like, I do feel like Baker is going to carry more value throughout the year. And if he just continues to score similarly, it doesn't even need to be the same, but similarly like last year, because he's obviously not going to have the same year, should regress. But if he gives me some of those games, I'm going to be able to get out of him for probably the same, if not a little bit more, to be honest, or something that is much more stable, or just picks. You know what I mean? Where I don't have to trade for Tua and then have to move Tua too, because it creates work for me. It creates work, and and right now I have an asset that people want. If I get those two, I have Hawkinson that people kind of want, but it's like they're not banging down the door, and they don't want Tua. So it's like that's the calculation I had to make in my head.
Okay, I'm done with that.
I get going the other way though, because I was very like in my head about it, so I understand thinking the other way. But go ahead.
I guess I just don't see. When I see the name Tua and stuff, I don't associate as high a risk level as other people do.
Yeah, no, and that's
I know that I'm in the minority that I feel like he's a little bit safer. Where everybody's like, man, don't touch him. Don't even look at him. He's going to be out. So I just think the concussions are a little bit like fluky, but I mean,
a full healthy year. If he goes through a full healthy year, I would regret not making this trade. You know what I mean? Because that would solidify his value. He would probably score enough points for me to get out of him throughout that year, and I'd have Hawkinson. So it all hinges on him playing the full year, and that's the risk that I kind of wasn't willing to take, I guess. But maybe I should have.
All right, next one. Also in Dynasty Underdog Listener League numero uno, we had somebody acquire Garrett Wilson for a 27 late first and a 27 late second. If those first and seconds end up being late, as it states, then I think that's a pretty good deal for Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a pretty fair deal. I don't think that the person moving the picks will regret it. And I think the person getting the picks could, be happy with it at the end of the day. So, this year is going to be, I think, kind of a down year for Garrett Wilson, unfortunately. Like it might be like a fine year, but it's not going to be anything that you're going to be like, wow, this won me my league or anything, right? It's Justin Fields, man. Like it's going to be tough. So I don't quite see how this year pays off, but I can see long term how it pays off for sure. It's a fair and potentially cheap price for Garrett Wilson.
All right, and our last trade. This is also in DU1, and it's funny that all three of these trades have included the same manager, and they weren't all me or all you.
That's hilarious. I didn't even realize he had just acquired Hawk. Huh.
He is it didn't go down. So that's the thing. I was trying to acquire Hawk. I'm sitting here looking at my DU run, and I'm like,
this is a non-trade.
Yeah, yeah. And you know
Oh.
what? My tight end one right now is Cole Kmet. I was like, fuck. You know, like, I got a really old roster, but like, and I know there's some like super teams there, but like anything could happen. So I'm like, I'm not at the point in selling yet, but I need a tight end. I have quite a few running backs. I'm like, all right. Just going through my head, like what tight end, like what tier of tight end can I really afford to go after right now? And I'm like, Hawkinson. That's a guy that like I think I'm probably higher on for the season than other people are. I'm like, I bet he's acquirable. I look at this guy's roster. He has Hawkinson, but he also has, I think, McBride, and I think Njoku. And I was like, oh, I bet I could get Hawkinson off him. He's got firepower there. It's either Bowers and Njoku or McBride and Njoku. Doesn't really matter. I'm like,
he has McBride. He has McBride. I was looking at it.
All right, so I was going through my running backs, and I had quite a few extras, in my opinion, or not. No, you never have extra, but like I have some I can move, and I was like, you know what? I went across multiple platforms, looking at kind of trade value, and I'm like, this is really really close. Like, no one's gonna get mad at me for saying this. So I sent over. That's a lot to talk about for a non-trade, but I sent over David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift for TJ Hawkinson. And it got rejected.
That's a strong offer, bro. Like, in my opinion, I think it's a strong. I mean, yeah, like I can understand keeping Hawkinson because I think he's the better long-term asset. But I mean, short-term, both those guys I think together have as much, if not more, value. And I mean, they're going to score a ton of points too. But yeah, man, I mean, I definitely lean Hawkinson here, but I do think that you sent a really strong offer that could have easily been accepted or maybe deserved a counter. Put it that way.
Yeah. I thought I'd get one of those two, but I understand maybe he doesn't have the time. Maybe he's already made a lot of decisions in his life. He's already been trading all week. So he probably just looked at it was like, that's not what I want for Hawkinson, reject. And doesn't hurt my feelings, but I do know that it's not a pretty good offer, but so yeah, so he was willing to move Hawkinson and Tua for Baker, but wasn't willing to accept Monty and Swift for Hawkinson.
That is interesting for sure. Yeah. But I mean, what's also interesting is like Baker is due to regress from what he did last year. Like he threw like 40 touchdowns or whatever, or 40 plus, and just like absolute crazy year. But I guess like the idea of getting Igbukah, maybe it sustains him more than we think. I'm just surprised people are so juiced on Baker, but that to me makes me think I should hold Baker a little bit longer. But yeah, very interesting moves that he's trying to make over there. He has a very strong team for sure. I think he was just in the finals, or he won maybe a year ago. He could have won last year or something like that, but he's definitely got a strong team. Surprised he didn't want to take on those running backs, but I can understand it for sure. I think Hawkinson, he thinks he can get something that is going to last longer. You know what I mean? And also maybe he was sending out that offer to me while you were sending that to him. And he was like, I need to use Hawkinson for this. I can't trade him for that right now. So maybe you try to come back in a couple days or something like that.
It's possible. It's just funny. I was realizing all these three included him. So yeah,
that is hilarious. He made a couple trades. I think there may have been another one that we didn't hit. We'll hit it next week. If not, we'll dig through those trades. But cool. I think it's enough for today.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. I mean, you know, always the final stuff. You know, shout out to the Discord and the YouTube channel and everything. I may have missed the Discord link last week, but I won't miss it this week. So, you know, if you're trying to get into the Discord, it will be in the show description. Just check that out on the weekly episode. And yeah, man, we love talking to y'all. Love hearing from y'all. It's awesome time, man. 1 week away. 1 week. 1 week's point scoring season, fam. It's crazy. Crazy.
Can't wait. All right. Other than that, you guys have a good night.
Peace out.